Motshekga, because I know that he knows his history very well, and I've often interviewed him, and I just want you to give us a perspective, actually, because we constantly get disinformed about the history. We've heard about blacks being colonialists and so on and so forth. I don't know if you could just paint a picture for us, just to put everything into context. And I'm from Zimbabwe. I look at great Zimbabwe, and I just see in awe the engineering that was there, Mapungubwe, in awe at some of the things that I see. But if you could just put it all into context for us in terms of our origins as a people.
I think the starting point is that human history has been falsified. And this falsified history is what has been and still is being taught in schools and universities. So white people are victims of this false history. Because, for instance, I've just come back from the Sudan. They took me to all the old temples. These temples are called the Amun temples. And all religions, when they pray, they end up by saying Amen. The Muslim says Amin. But nobody accepts the fact that the word Amen does not exist anywhere in the world except in Africa. And I inspected the temples in the Sudan, which are modeled like the Great Zimbabwe Temple, like Mutokolo Temple here in Limpopo. And when I look at the temples, Rome, everywhere in Europe, they are modeled on black African temples. Now, my sister here was talking about civilization, to say it comes from Egypt. Actually, the Egyptians themselves say they come from the source of the Nile. The Ethiopians say that the Egyptians are their children. And the Great Zimbabwe are all ourselves in Southern Africa. We say we come from the land of the sun, in the area of the Great Lakes. The area of the Great Lakes is the birthplace of human civilization. And this human civilization traveled to Egypt, to Israel, to Greece and Rome. What Europe did, they inherited African civilization. What you call the European Renaissance was actually came about as a result of the rediscovery of ancient Egyptian knowledge, which came from so-called Black Africa. So unless and until we rewrite human history, starting with the center of Africa, and therefore writing history from an African-centered perspective, we are not going to defeat racism. And I agree with everybody that racism is in the mind, but the white mind is shaped by a wrong history, which we ourselves are using our political power, we are using our institutions to perpetuate. So I pity the white people. They are victims of an old age problem, and we cannot say to them, change. We must change the system and they will change. But otherwise it's not going to happen because we debate it. We must go into action, develop an interdisciplinary and an intersectoral program to combat racism.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. Always insightful. Okay.